Solomon, you've been patient enough. What's on your mind, man?
This has been great. I called in earlier because, well, I'm glad this whole conversation came through, but I'm still going to do what I wanted to do, which is actually push back a little bit on one of the notions you talked about earlier.
Go for it.
But you even kind of corrected yourself midway through a little bit, but I'm still going to push back on it, and that is the notion that Bernie can't go back to slightly into his civil rights record and things in his record throughout the past. I think either way he can't at this point because a lot of Bernie supporters on Twitter have ruined it. So so either way, I don't think he can. But I'm going to argue that he should do it and he should be able to do it. Is that you mentioned yourself the premise that in and of itself saying that he can't do it when the entire reason that Black support is so surrounded by Hillary is their past relationship with the Black community, is that, well, why isn't Bernie allowed to talk about his consistent relationship with the Black community and supporting Black issues, but it's not just in civil rights and working with CORE and SNCC and marching with King, or after that, promoting Jesse Jackson in both elections, helping him secure Vermont. And then after that, his famous speech that he gave against the Clinton crime bill that they were passing, and he was leading the opposition to, in many cases in Congress, him speaking to empty rooms where no one but C-SPAN watchers could see him talking about that. There's one of those for gay marriage, and people in the LGBT community talk about that 90 speech where he defended homosexuality as a major reason why they support him. So why is it that he can't do that for the African American community?
Well, because
but at the same time, Hillary Clinton's using her past relationship, which isn't even all net positive anyway, as the entire crux of, because what have you done for me lately from Hillary?
Right, exactly. So even on what have you done for me lately, she can't even hit 70% of the things that DeRay McKesson and his researchers have put forth as solutions for the problem of police violence in Black communities, right? She can't even hit that. But somehow it's Bernie Sanders. Now, let me get off of that stool and let me address what you're saying. I agree with you. Bernie Sanders should be able to tout his past as much as he wants to. But you know what? You're right. Bernie Sanders supporters have ruined that on Twitter. Love you guys, but you kind of ruined that. And so it can't be Bernie who actually touts that. It has to be Black people who tout it, people who know it. We need to go and speak about it. And it's getting to the point where I would much rather talk about Bernie Sanders' economic policies because I understand the root of and the cause and the purpose of white supremacy. I do understand that that Ta-Nehisi Coates' reparations argument is really an economic argument on how do we fix the problem of white supremacy. I understand all of that. And so the economic portion of Bernie Sanders is far more interesting and far more important, in my opinion, to actually fixing some of the problems that we have in America. However, I will gladly address BS when I see BS. And if I have to pick up the Black splainer in chief, which I hate doing because I don't, on top of race issues, I excel. My expertise is the religious right, economics, and international relations. But because I've had to live a Black life, I absolutely have a PhD in being Black, right? So I said that to say it's going to take people like us to actually talk about those things. One, because Bernie Sanders supporters, some of them have ruined it on Twitter and social media world. But then two, because the pushback we're getting is from Black faces in very influential spaces. They are the ones who are making it a detrimental thing for him to talk about his past, right? And so we have to counter that with our voices. Go for it.
And you look at what happens with the lawyer for Trayvon Martin just switched support. The lawyer for Walter Scott and a state rep in South Carolina switched support, and they all talked about we had no idea about his relationship with the Black community. We had no idea about his racial justice platform. Because maybe it should be a critique on the campaign. They don't really have too many high up Black staffers. Maybe they should, but they should have very early on been pushing this a lot. And maybe it is the Clinton supporters not wanting to bring out, oh, we shouldn't talk about past for Bernie because then that means, well, that we can start talking about the Clintons' past because it's not exactly very good. Where Bernie was literally trying to stop the disastrous policies that they were pushing on the black community.
Absolutely.
Through welfare reform or the crime bills. Both of them, he was fighting very hard to stop.
Solomon, thanks for the call, man. I've got to grab this next one. Appreciate it.